From making the playoffs and making the Pro Bowl and being hailed as a successor to Tom Brady in your very first season, to not even fetching a late day 3 draft pick. Man, how the mighty have fallen. Welcome everybody to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jared Garinai, representing the 904 from the 602, and today we are talking about this team behind me right here, the New England Patriots, and their quarterback, Mac Jones, the former first-round pick out of Alabama, entering his 4th season in the NFL. In all likelihood, will not be back with New England next season, as they have the number 3 pick in the NFL draft, and all indications are that they are going to draft a quarterback, thereby ending the Mac Jones era after a disappointing 3 seasons there, which raises the question on everyone's mind: what can the Patriots possibly fetch for Jones in a trade? What can they get out of it? Now, Mac Jones, not very good last year, 2-9 record, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, threw more picks than touchdowns, which is really hard to do in today's NFL as a starter. But Mac Jones found a way. A passer rating of just 77. He ranked 28th in passing yards on the season, 29th in passing touchdowns, and out of 32 qualified quarterbacks in passer rating, he ranked 31st. The only one worse was Bryce Young. Zach Wilson, we all know how bad he was with the Jets. He actually had a higher passer rating in 2023 than Mac Jones did. That is saying a lot. Now, this report from the Boston Herald came out today, and it came during the NFL Combine, about what Mac Jones could fetch in a trade, and according to sources, it is not a lot. 3 front office executives told the Herald the quarterback Mac Jones should fetch around a 5th-round pick in trade talks with other teams. Another AMC evaluator suggested the Patriots might be lucky to land a 6th-rounder. To the shock of no one, Jones is reportedly expected to be traded this offseason as the team plans to upgrade its QB room. Can't be that hard to upgrade the QB room when Mac Jones was your quarterback last year. Now, here's the problem with Mac Jones, aside from the fact that he's not very good. Number one, you only have 1 year of control. Whatever team signs Mac Jones or gets him in a trade only has 1 year of control with him unless they want to extend him, because they're not giving him a 5th-year option, because that would be the biggest waste of money ever. On top of that, his cap hit would be $5 million. That is super high for a backup quarterback. The only true backup quarterbacks with a higher cap hit in 2024 as things stand, there's 5 of them, and 2 of them might not even be on the roster next year. You have Taylor Heineke with the Atlanta Falcons. His cap hit next year is $8.9 million. The Falcons could cut him and incur the $2 million dead cap hit, especially if they get Justin Fields. They'll be likely to do that. Jared Stidham on the Denver Broncos. He's costing Denver $7 million in 2024, but they can cut him for $2 million in dead cap. So Stidham and Heineke might not even be on their respective teams, so they might not even count. Mike White has a higher cap hit than Mac Jones, but he'll be on the Dolphins. Trey Lance has a higher cap hit than Mac Jones, but he'll be on the Cowboys. Another one of those 2021 quarterbacks that didn't quite work out. And Andy Dolan has a higher cap hit than Mac Jones on the Carolina Panthers, but he will be on the team. So there's only 3 backup quarterbacks that I can reasonably assume will be on their respective teams and have a higher cap hit than Mac Jones. Either way, Mac Jones is going to be one of the top 5 or 6 highest paid backup quarterbacks in football from a cap hit standpoint, and you only get 1 year of control for him. On top of that, you're getting a guy that doesn't have a lot of upside. He's been declining every year. Completion percentage, touchdowns, winning percentage, passing yards per game, all of those stats have gone down every single year. So it's no real surprise that Mac Jones might only fetch a 6th-round pick, maybe a 5th-round pick, but you're not going to get anything more than that based on what the evaluators are saying, based on what the reports are saying. If the Pats want to move on from Mac Jones, and they should, and they absolutely will, they're not going to fetch anything more than a late day 3 draft pick. So here's what needs to happen. If you're going to find a trade partner for Mac Jones, you need a team that has a needed backup quarterback and has the necessary cap space to pull this off, and has some draft picks to work with too, because, again, you only have 1 year of control. So there aren't a lot of suitors available for Mac Jones. Already your field is cut in half, but I think there's 3 possible options for Mac Jones, 3 teams that could potentially give up that 5th-round or 6th-round pick if need be. Number 1, the Indianapolis Colts. Now, you have 2 quarterbacks on the roster already with Anthony Richardson and Sam Ehlinger. You might need 3 quarterbacks just because of Richardson's injury history. You're not bringing back Gardner Minshew, who's going to cost you too much money, and he's going to look for a starting job elsewhere. The Colts have $74 million in cap space, so the $5 million cap hit for Mac Jones won't be too much of an issue. They can absolutely work with that. On top of that, you look at Colts general manager Chris Ballard. He talked about the 2021 quarterback draft class when it happened 3 years ago, and he had some pretty high praise for it. Now, he didn't mention any specific quarterbacks, but he did say on that class, it's a good class. It's a good class. I'll say that. They all get pushed up now. We're seeing it. They all get pushed up. A little bit of luck has to come into play. That was talking about, can he get one of those quarterbacks to fall to him at that first-round draft pick when they had it in 2021. So they couldn't get Mac Jones, couldn't get a quarterback back in 2021 in the first round, but they might have a chance to do so here, might get your second string or third string quarterback in. The cap hit is not going to be too much of an issue considering the fact that they have tons of cap space and you might need some insurance on Anthony Richardson. Another team that could be an option, what about the Arizona Cardinals? The Cardinals have 10 draft picks, 6 in the first 3 days, so they have room to play with. Now, obviously, you're not trading away a round 1, 2, or 3 pick to the Patriots for Mac Jones, but with all those draft picks, 6 in the first 3 days, you might not have all 10 guys make the roster, so you're more willing to give a 5th or a 6th round pick for a guy like Mac Jones. On top of that, Kyler Murray, obviously very good quarterback. He's the unquestioned starter. This is not a knock on Murray. It's more the fact that there is no one behind him. The only other quarterback on the roster by the end of last season was Clayton Tune. And let me tell you this much, Clayton Tune was garbage. I watched him live in the preseason against the Denver Broncos. He did not look like an NFL quality quarterback. And to make matters worse, he actually played in the regular season. He started a game against the Cleveland Browns, and it was the worst game by any quarterback in all of football last year. You might not have seen the game, but I can promise you, Clayton Tune had the single worst game by any quarterback in the NFL last season. In that game against Cleveland, which he got the start, 58 passing yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 20.8 passer rating, which is worse than if he did nothing but spike the ball into the ground on every single play. He took 7 sacks, finished the game, when you combine the sack yardage and his passing yardage, with 17 net passing yards. A game in the modern NFL in 2023, the man had 17 net passing yards. He is the first line of defense if Kyler Murray goes down. Mac Jones, he could be a very decent backup option there considering the circumstances. The team that I think will make the move, though, and the team that I think Mac Jones will wind up with next year, because it makes a ton of sense, is the Los Angeles Rams. Because head coach Sean McVay doesn't seem very confident that Stetson Bennett is returning to the team. You only really have Matthew Stafford on the roster, and they have $44 million in cap space to work with. So that $5 million cap hit for 1 year of control, not a huge deal. We've seen McVay take chances on reclamation projects before. We saw him take Baker Mayfield a few years ago as a backup. And when you look at the comments made by McVay about Stetson Bennett, their draft pick from last year out of Georgia, it doesn't look pretty. Here's a report from the Los Angeles Times, writer Gary Klein. He said the Rams will connect with quarterback Stetson Bennett at the appropriate time, according to what Sean McVay said, and you figure out, all right, where are you at? And this is something we feel like is best for him and our football team to bring him back into this ecosystem. So we don't even know if Stetson Bennett's going to be playing football next year, let alone playing with the Rams. They need a backup quarterback. Mac Jones could definitely be that guy if they want to pursue that, and they have the cap space to do it. And I did mention before, the Cardinals have $51 million of cap space as well. Colts have $74 million. So teams with high cap space that can afford to take a $5 million cap hit on a quarterback for 1 year of control. Either way, it doesn't look like Mac Jones is going to be coming back to New England in 2024. And when the Patriots do inevitably trade him, they're not going to get a whole lot in return. And it's understandable as to why, considering the lack of production and considering the fact that he doesn't have a lot of control with this contract, and considering the fact that his cap hit is super high. Everything just doesn't add up for Mac Jones getting a ton, but we will see where he winds up in 2024, and we'll see what the compensation is when the time comes. Either way, don't expect him on the Patriots by the time the NFL draft is over later in April. But what are your thoughts on the Mac Jones situation? Do you think that the Patriots will keep him? Do you think they move on from him? Do you think the Pats draft a quarterback with their first round pick in pick number 3? What team do you think acquires Mac Jones? And better yet, based on the report from the Boston Herald, what do you think the draft compensation will be for Mac Jones? Do you think it's going to be a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, maybe a 4th round pick, maybe a 7th? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you think the Patriots will fetch for Mac Jones. But that's going to do for this episode of JJ9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out my main channel, Jaguar Gamer 9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is Jerry Aaron 9 signing off, and as always, go Jags.